Check 1 2. Check 1 2. For a moment there, I thought the mic died. The mic is not dead. The background music is dead though. Let's bring that back up. Huh. Is it just me, or is there like a weird line on the stream? There is. Where are you coming from? Ah, I see where you're coming from. That's the captions. Why is it doing that? Actually, why is it doing that? It should not be doing that. I wonder if it has something to do with the sizing? I hope not. That's a pain in the butt to fix. What if... Hold up. I think I'm... Man, I hate doing these live fixes on stream. What the heck? What the heck? Why is it like this? There we go. Oh, that was easy. That was an easy fix. Alright, I think everything is finally in place. But yeah, hey everyone, welcome to the stream. My name is Ruka. And so usually we do these Mahjong and chat streams every 2 weeks. The last time we did this was last week. However, we do have something special coming up next week, so I'm on Friday. So I'm moving that Mahjong stream to today instead. That's why we excuse me. That's why we have it for today. And let's see, what was I gonna say? At least I feel a lot better to this week than I did previous weeks. Oh crap! I forgot to grab the Batsu item. Hold up. Let me grab it really quick. I knew I was missing something. Alright, I am back. Did that catch it? Nope, it did not. Check 1 2 mic. Okay. I am back, and so I got the Batsu item, which is, so usually I have a Batsu item for anyone who hasn't been here before. I usually have a Batsu item for whenever I hit like 3rd or 4th place. We're gonna say at least 3rd place for today. If I get 3rd place, I'm gonna eat this Batsu item. Before it used to be alcohol. I still have that alcohol, but I don't feel like getting drunk right now. So I do have the sour dried plums, the ume, from 7-Eleven that we tried a few weeks ago. I still have those. I haven't touched them. I really do not want to try these, but if I hit 3rd place, I'm going to do 1 piece of ume. If I hit 4th place, I'm going to do 2 pieces of ume. I don't think I have that many left in this package, so I do have a 2nd package. I hope I don't have to open today. But yeah, for anyone who's new here, thank you for coming to the channel, and also thank you for subscribing to the channel. I noticed that there have been a lot of people that joined since I posted the Japanese learning video, which is just basically me struggling with the weirdness that is in Japanese. I'll be honest, there's a lot of stuff in Japanese that don't make any sense. At least the way it's taught. Well, I mean, at least the way Wanikani and Bunpro teach it, it's a little bit weird sometimes. Like Wanikani gives you all these weird mnemonics that may or may not make sense, and could be way off from what you're actually looking at, but it does help to keep, like, it helps stick. in your head a little bit. So sometimes I pay attention to those, but if I already know the word because of way too much anime and games, then I kind of ignore those mnemonics. But at the same time, it's like I'm kind of also reconciling myself with myself. Like, I know this word, but you're not teaching me the word that as I know it. So what the heck is going on? I do not understand. But yes, I am learning Japanese. Still learning Japanese. I have been doing it every day since I got back from Japan, or at least a few days since I got back from Japan last month. And really, you can't stop it. You can't take a break. If you take a break, you might lose what you learn, and it's already hard when you don't have anyone to talk to, like physically talk to in Japanese. So some of it doesn't really stick, and I probably should be watching more anime to help some of these words stick. Vocabulary wise, yes. And well, I think kanji, you can't really see kanji in anime, so maybe I need to read some manga or doujins or something, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, kanji's a pain in the butt. I think we can all agree with that. If you know Chinese, it might be a little bit easier for you. Minus the pronunciations. The pronunciations are going to be quite a bit different. But I'm just kind of like going through it. Basically, I'm just going through it. And it's fun but frustrating at the same time because some things don't make sense the way it's presented. And even within the language itself. Even with the language itself, it can be difficult, it can be frustrating. So I feel like it's these little things with learning a language that I kind of wanted to share with other people. So that's why I made that video. I thought it also would be funny. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I am still collecting material for another video. So yeah, when the second video when I have enough material for the second video, I'll definitely post that. In the meantime, I still need to do my vlog videos. I'm kind of trying to think now how I want to do it. It's been over a month since I said I'd release the vlog video, but things keep getting in the way. I know I have been pushing it off and off and off, but that one's a lot more complicated to do. Anyway, I'm gonna warm up with rank first and then I'll keep talking. I usually warm up anyway, so let's go. Let's go. Anyway, so where was I? Yes, Japanese learning. I gotta say kanji's probably not too bad, at least so far. I've been using WaniKani for my kanji learning, and for the most part, they're not too bad. But also, the thing with WaniKani is they divide the kanji learning in levels, as well as I think they teach you like individual kanji and how to remember them, and then later on they give you vocabulary that you could possibly use to read them eventually. And then it's like a time release thing, and you can't really rush the learning, so no matter how much you want to grind out the learning, you really can't do that. So they use this thing called, what is it called? There's a technical term for it. Space remember something. Anyway, the basic methodology. Holy crap, I can't even English today. The basic methodology for that is that you learn something, and then you're given not really a test, a quiz. I guess you can call it a quiz. You're quizzed every so often. If you get it right, then it delays the next quiz for that same thing you got right a little bit later. That way your brain can digest what you just learned, and it keeps it in your memory. And the more times you get it right, the later and longer you have to wait until you see it again. Now, that seems a little counterintuitive for some people as far as learning things, but now that I think about it, it kind of makes sense. You tend to learn things the more often times you see it, but it sticks also better in your long-term memory if you don't see it for a while, but it pushes it slowly and slowly further out, and then eventually it pushes it so far out, like months or something like that. It pushes it so far out that by the time you see it again months later and you remember it, it's basically burned in your memory, and they do have a special category for that called burned. That's basically what WaniKani is. And honestly, it's really good for self-learning if you're able to do a self-learning thing. But at the same time, for people who aren't good at self-learning and need a different method to do it, it might not be good for you, but definitely try it, because they do have a free trial up to a certain level. If it's working for you, then you can pay into it. Now, mind you, if you're a high schooler or even college student, it might be a little bit expensive to pay into it. So you'll probably be using other methods, and there are other free methods that you can use. And I think TofuGo, which is the site / company, I think. I'm not sure if they're actually a company or that's just a site name. TofuGo does have a, what do you call this? Have free recommendations basically for your learning needs. So that's nice. That's nice. However, just because you can do kanji through WaniKani, it doesn't mean that they'll teach you like grammar. They'll teach you vocabulary, but they won't teach you how to use said vocabulary. I mean, they have like usage stuff, but it doesn't actually enforce, like, it doesn't actually help you learn the vocabulary. You have to use another source for that. So whatever source you want to use, Duolingo, crap. Are you serious? You got the Ipatsu off me? This is the this is the thing when it comes to Mahjong. I am actually playing, but I'm also doing like a semi-podcast at the same time, and whenever things go south for me, literally, I just... oh, it hurts. Anyway. But yeah, whenever you do want to do grammar, again, there are free options like Duolingo, but Duolingo may not be the best thing. And also Duolingo, I'll be perfectly honest, I tried it, and it's the way it teaches you is like repetition over and over and over again, which works for some people, but the way they do it, it seems a little bit weird, for me anyway, and I could never really stick to it. But for WaniKani and Bunpro, which is what I use for grammar, I'm able to stick to that a lot easier, and it's actually good for reviews and like self-learning stuff. However, those things that I mentioned do cost money after your trial period is over, so it's not good for everyone. However, it's also very effective at what it does, so definitely give the free trials a try. and see how you like it, and then if you want to stick with it, then I guess maybe get a part-time job or something. Thankfully though, if you do have a part-time job, at least it's not too expensive to pay for, but it still does it's not cheap for small budgets basically, but there is a lifetime payment that you can do, and if you do that, nice, great, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Though I don't know, I feel like between that and I think Rosetta Stone, I hear people say Rosetta Stone also. I don't remember if I actually tried Rosetta Stone, so I can't comment on it. But I mean, people have learned through Rosetta Stone. I don't know how they do it, to be honest, so try what works best for you. But my sources for the video specifically is Wanikani and Bunbro. And a little bit of help from Tai Kim, which I haven't actually touched in a while. Tai Kim is, for all intents and purposes, there is a free resource online, but I think there's also a book that he sells or something. But the online stuff is good enough for the most part. Ooh, I'm glad I didn't get hit by that. But yeah, just it's a fun journey, just so you know. And it's also nice that you don't really get burned out, or at least I don't get burned out from learning it. The kanji especially, because kanji is very, what do you call this? Kanji is very complicated. So it's nice not getting burnt out learning that because of how the new material is taught to you and how it's spaced. So that's really good. That's really good to know. And what you can possibly get burned out on is the grammar. The grammar in Bunpro, from what I've noticed anyway, is that you can go as far and as fast as you want to. It's not like Wanikani. Wanikani gates you a little bit. Yeah, Wanikani does 100% gate you with the material, and which is helpful because you don't really want to rush the stuff that you don't already know. Meanwhile, with Bunpro, it covers things in a certain order, and it still builds on what you previously know, but you can also push too far too hard. And when the quizzes start rolling in, you forget which one is which, so it's better to do it in small pieces. Writing kanji is so hard. Hi. Kanji musukashi na. It's very hard to write. I mean, reading is one thing, writing is another. I don't think I'll be able to ever write kanji, but reading it I might be able to. However, if the screen is too small, like I'm looking at the YouTube chat right now, and it's really hard for me to read some of the stuff there. Even the hiragana and katakana are a little bit difficult for me to see sometimes. I can't imagine for the more complicated kanji being able to read that on a screen. I don't know how Japanese people do it, or even Chinese people, because they used even simplified Chinese for their stuff, and I feel like that's difficult difficult to read. I don't know how you guys do it. But yeah, welcome. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. But like I said, I'm still waiting on. I'm still collecting more material for another video for the Japanese learning stuff. As far as my journey through it, like I can't teach you Japanese through the videos. That's not what it's about. I'm just sharing my experience. I'm sharing my experience and basically not really criticizing, but complaining as a student would about the the weird stuff that happens in kanji, for a lack of a better word. Some kanji combinations don't make sense when you're learning it. It might make sense in reading, because kanji is a very, I mean, Japanese in general is a very contextual language. Extremely contextual. You don't know exactly what's happening until the sentence is done, basically. Meanwhile, I don't know if this is just English, but in English generally, when someone starts talking, you kind of have an idea where the sentence is going. Not always, but in general, that's the feel. That's the feeling. So yeah, maybe. So now that whenever I think about Jonathan Joestar from Battle Tendency and JoJo, whenever he says your next words are going to be something something, it's a little bit more impressive to me now. Or maybe he's just good at guessing, I don't know. Maybe he's just good at guessing, there's that too. But yeah. Anyway. Just keep... But yeah, again, for the people who recently subscribed because of the Japan videos, thank you. I might make more those kinds of videos. There's definitely a few videos I want to do. However, I've struggled to I've struggled to decide where I want to put them, but I think I might put them more in this channel. I still need to get around to making vlog videos. And at this point, I don't know if I should put the vlog videos in this channel too. I have a vlog channel with nothing in it, so maybe I could still get away with it. Maybe. It would be a very weird channel to jump into, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't really have anything in particular to talk about, except unless you wanted to hear me talk about camera stuff, because I've been looking up a lot of camera stuff recently. So, my invitation to you, as always, and I'll write this in chat also. Oh, please tell me. Oh, that's a sumo. Okay. I'm still in 3rd place, which is Crap. Okay, well, at least I'm not 4th, but I did say I do have a Batsu that I have to do for 3rd place still. Basically, anytime I lose rank points, I have to do a Batsu, but the Batsu is worse if I do it in 4th place. So, let me just remind you guys what this looks like. 7, 11... I'm gonna try to read the Japanese here. It's a 7-11 Supai, what is this one? Supai Goshi? Ume? Sour dried plums. 7-11 sour dried plums. I don't know if I read that kanji right, but I think that's what it says from what I remember. Because I think I've seen this one before. I've seen that character before, but let me just show you what we're dealing with right now. I think I have. Oh, can I get this picture? No, you don't want me to take this picture? Oh, that's strawberries. That's not the plums. The plums are this. Similar to this. Alright, This'll work. It's small, but it'll work. No. Why does it look like that? All right, let's try it again. So what I am eating right now, or at least will be eating as soon as I stop talking, is this thing. This is my Batsu. I take one of these if I get 3rd place in ranked, and 2 of these if I get 4th. So I got 3rd place last time. I normally do a hand cam for the food stuff, but no hand cam today. And I hope I don't have to open another bag. I do have another bag, but not of this. I don't think this is a super sour one. I have a honey dried plum, and that I felt like that was salty and not sweet. Anyway, not looking forward to this, so I don't think that's sour. Hold up. I don't think that's sour. Oh no, there's a sourness. Oh my gosh. It's like salty and sour at the same time. Maybe more salty than sour? I don't know. How do you eat this? It's very strong. Very strong. How do you eat this? One was bad enough. I have to eat 2 if I get 4th place. No one told me to do this. This is just this is just me. This is all me. Ugh. Oh my god. I feel like I'm supposed to eat this with something. I don't know. By itself, it's too strong though. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's keep going. I know I had something I wanted to talk about. Speaking of which, and I should also write this down in chat. If you have something, no, what is it? If you want something, if you want to share, if you have something you want to share, are you looking forward to anything soon? Are you looking forward to anything soon? Let me know and let's talk about it. Wait, what is this character? What is this character? That is sweet, so it has less sour. Wait. Oh, wait, wrong one. Wrong one. That's not the one. that's not the right one. That's the wrong picture. I didn't realize it was this wrong picture. It's this one. これはちょっと待って。これ酸っぱいゴシ梅酸っぱいゴシ梅なんだと何これ Anyway, if you have anything you want to talk about, like something you're looking forward to, let me know. I want to know what you're up to. I want to know what you're all up to and what you're all interested in. Basically, kind of curious. I'm actually kind of curious, but this is the one I have right now. Not the sweet one, the sour one. But it tastes salty. This one tastes more salty than sour. Or maybe it tastes salty first and then the sour kicks in. It's kind of strong. Kind of strong. A little bit strong. But it's still blech. Anyway. I'm gonna keep going because I don't think we have enough people in chat to do a room. So let's keep going here. Again, if you want to what do you call this? Play Mahjong with me, let me know. But we need at least 2 people. We need at least 2 people to make a room. Not necessarily for 3-player, but for 4-player. I wonder. I don't normally use this skin in ranked, but I'm running into a lot of ranked skins recently. That is interesting. So I wonder if okay, I'm gonna have to get deep L for this one because I can't read all of that. Let's see. Some pickled plums are very salty because they pickle with salt. Ah, that makes sense. Shione. How do you say pickled? But yes, I think with pickling, the pickling I'm used to is mostly with. You can pick. I think you can pickle with sugar and you can pickle with vinegar. I'm mostly used to vinegar pickling with a little bit of salt, but not a whole lot of salt. So I'm more used to sour stuff. I like sour foods in general, but salty, that's too strong. The only thing I'm used to with a lot of salt in it is, what is this? You know, dried fish, dried seafood, that kind of thing. Sochika. Sochika? What is Sochika? Kazuku? Nanda though. Hey y'all. Oh, this one? Nope. Oh, that was a bad move. Oh well. Okay, anyway. But yeah, it's anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about was, well, it's not really anything I want to talk about in particular, but I've been looking at cameras a lot recently. Now, I don't know if anyone has seen the community post, but the camera I used for my last trip in Japan is dead. Sochi might be the other one. Sochi. すみません。わからないです。I don't know the context of that. I'm trying to get Deep L to help me, but I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to learn. But yeah, I've been looking at a bunch of camera stuff since my other the camera I used for my last trip in Japan was the Canon G7X Mark II, a very popular camera, it seems, for travel, vlogging in general. It's a very small, it's a very small compact camera. And for what it does, it's actually really, really good. It also takes really, really nice pictures for what it is. And I'm kind of I don't know if bummed out is what I want to say, but it feels like a little part of me has died when it died. It's a complicated feeling. Like you've had this one thing, you know. Here's kind of how I see it. you have this one thing that you've been using for a long time, not a very long time. The camera itself, I think, is about 4 years old, so it's not that old, but it's still something that was important to me because I used it a lot in those 4 years. So, you know, when it couldn't turn on anymore despite a good battery, then it's like, oh no, what do I do now? I did want to get a different camera though, just because when I was like, when I came back from the trip, the camera I was using, the G7X, was really beat up. And when I say really beat up, I mean there's like rubber grips on the G7X Mark II. The G7X, G number X series, however you want to call those, in general have rubber grips on them. And I'm not sure if they're cheap or what, but they're like, wow, this is a 4-way tie. Huh. But I mean, they last a decent while, but it's also, you know, not the best quality because it's a small camera. It's a cheap camera. When it first came out, I think around 2016, I think that's when it first came out, 2016. I think it was roughly around $500. Around that price. Right now, if you want to get that camera, it costs $800 or more, which is crazy. I know we've had inflation. I know there's a chip shortage, and it's also causing the supply for electronics in general to be smaller than it would normally be. But that is still a crazy amount of money to pay for what is basically a 7-year-old camera now. But the way it performs is very good for being 7 years old. On top of that, being a compact camera, there's a lot to like about it, but I don't know if I would pay almost twice the money for that camera today than what I used to pay before. So until Canon comes out with a new version of the G7X, or, you know, a better version of the G5X, I think the G5X was supposed to be a replacement or at least an upgrade to the G7X, though I say that, and the G5X and the G7X Mark III were released at the same time, so I don't know what's going on there, what the real difference between the G7X series and G5X series is. And the G7X series I feel like is more vlogging, I guess, and G5X might be more traditional photos, but they do the same thing. Honestly, they're more or less the same thing. The G5X just has a little bit of a difference. The only difference with the G5X and the G7X Mark III particularly is a G5X has a viewfinder, and not a very good viewfinder, but it has one. And the G7X Mark III, you can actually stream with it from the camera to, like, say YouTube or Twitch, which is neat. And I guess I wonder if both of them do 4K video. I think both of them might do 4K video, so they're probably the same there, but really they're only different with those. And I'm like, I've seen a lot of photographers and YouTube channels and stuff say, but he doesn't have an EVF. He doesn't have an EVF. No viewfinder. No electronic viewfinder. This, that, and this, and this. And like, I don't honestly care. I mean, some people might care because they're used to it, and you know, in general, if it's really bright outside, it's hard to look at an LCD screen and see what you're shooting at. Fair. That is fair. I understand that. But it's not the end of the world if you don't have it. There are ways around it, and fairly easy ways around it. So, but anyway, I'm digressing, and I digress quite a bit. But the point I'm trying to make is that I'm hoping that they make a new version for the G7X series or G5X series, and it's good and not overpriced. But time will tell. They are... oh crap, that was my wind. Never mind. Time will tell. It also, I think, were due, or might have been due for a new version last year. If they make another version, it might be hopefully next year, but we will see. In the meantime, I can't wait that long for a new camera. So I had to get a new camera, and I think this is the first time I am using a camera that is not a Canon. Technically, it would be the first time I have kept a camera that is not Canon. I tried a Sony camera before. This past summer, I tried a lot of different cameras. There were a lot of cameras I did not like. I tried all the Sony cameras. Sony cameras are good for video. 100% good for video. However, if you try to take a picture with them, the pictures are not very good. Like, they're very sharp. That's not the issue. For me, I saw a lot of yellow fringing, like yellow, like there's chromatic aberration, and that is like, chromatic aberration is basically what it sounds like in English. There are weird colors coming up that's not supposed to be there in the picture. And it's mostly yellow, green-ish colors. And I didn't like that. Also, the colors, the color composition of the pictures that came out of the camera, not very good. You have to adjust all of them in post-production. Pretty much always, and that's too much work for me. Canon, in general, takes pretty good pictures, and you can use the pictures from that gets saved in your SD card almost right away, and which is what I did for the most part when I shared my pictures whenever I took them. So I was used to Canon colors. The Canon colors are pretty nice. I also tried the Fujifilm camera. Fujifilm cameras, I may have not played around with it enough, but at the same time, I was also looking for a camera that I could use also for hand cam. So a studio camera. I was looking for a studio camera. And the autofocus for the Fujifilm camera, not good for video. It's good for photography, but not video. And at the time, I didn't realize that there were different autofocus methods for cameras. I only found that out like literally this week. Literally this week, I only found out that, oh, this is probably why the autofocus on the Fujifilm camera was not very good, despite it being their most recent camera. Like their most recent, maybe not necessarily the best, but it's like, you know, technologically advanced compared to the older versions. But the autofocus was not good for video. Good for photos, not good for video. Also, it was really heavy. It was really heavy. I wanted a camera that I could use for stream videos and also carry out and take pictures with. So eventually, because of other things, I decided not to keep that one. Eventually, I settled with a Canon camera, a cheap Canon camera that is only used for the studio. I don't shoot pictures with it outside. Just because it's big, it's a little it's big, it's not heavy, but it's bulky. And I like my cameras that I use outside to be pocketable. Like they fit in the pocket. That is my main requirement. Which the Canon G7X did, this Canon G7X series and G5X does very, very well. You can put it in your pocket, take it out really quick, take a picture really quick, and put it back in, hassle-free. But yeah, the camera that we use for the hand cams, really good for video, really good for photography. I just don't use it for photography because it was big, and I did bring it to Japan with me this past trip. However, not once did I use that thing. I thought I would be using at least a few times. I did not use it even once. So I basically have this camera the size of a decent rock, a good sized rock, in my suitcase for the entire trip, and I very, very much regretted bringing it with me because it took up space that I could have used for more souvenirs, basically. Not that I actually filled my entire luggage full of souvenirs, though. It got pretty close. So I possibly could have used a little bit more space. But anyway, it's a studio camera only now. And that's all it will be until the end of time, basically. I probably could have used something else, but it works better than our original setup. Our original setup, for the people who have not seen the original setup before. Ooh, oh, that's not good. 5.2? I'll take it. The other one had more Dora than me, though. Oh, no. This is okay. This is okay, too. Anyway, so the... Crap, I lost my train of thought. This camera setup we had before I got the studio camera, was basically, it's not really a security camera, but it could be a security camera. What I mean by that is there's these tiny little cameras that you can use as a webcam, and it's not really a webcam, though you can use as a webcam. And I think it was mainly used for like surveillance or something. So basically I used a surveillance camera for hand cam streams for a while, and it worked actually really, really well. Like, it was very sharp, it was very good. It was actually okay to use. However, the focus was manual, so whenever I had to zoom in and out, I have to change the focus all the time, and I really didn't want to keep doing that. I mean, it was like $100 camera basically, but it worked for really well for $100 camera, so yay. But I wanted something a little bit easier to work with, and that's what the studio camera is for. But yeah, Canon's really good though. Canon's really good in general for cameras if you just don't want to like tweak a lot of things. Good for photo, pretty decent for video, though I think if you are hardcore into video editing and stuff like that and want to do all these cinematic color grading and whatnot, I think the Sonys might be better for you. But if you just want something that works, Canon's good. For photography, Canon's still pretty good. I don't think I like Sony very much for it. I know there's a lot of people that like Nikon and Panasonic. I haven't used either of them, but I'm also not convinced with the samples I've seen, so I don't touch those. Olympus, a lot of people seem to like Olympus, so when I was thinking about it replacing the G7X that I had, I was looking into Olympus because it was smaller than the APS-C cameras and pocketable still. Like it's not gonna be super high grade or professional. Well, that depends on the lens. I'll take that back. It's not going to be like heavy, which is nice. I like things to be portable. You can still change lenses on it if you want to, and they have a lot of options for small profile camera lenses and setups, which is nice. So that's why I got that. They have like small Olympuses, pocket size Olympuses, and they have bigger size Olympuses that also, what do you call it? That also have they're still the same sensor size somehow. Wow, I destroyed them. Holy crap. Oh, thank goodness I am above 400. Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna double check chat really quick. I don't think we have enough people for... Nope, we still don't have enough people for a room, sadly. So I'm gonna keep going. Again, please let me know if you want to play. We need at least 2 people. And I'm just gonna keep going on with the monologue until like 2 hours are up, basically. But the point of this podcast, by the way, is not just me talking. Though if you want to just listen to me talk, that's also okay. The point of this is to hang out with you guys, play with you guys, and you know, if you have anything you want to share, talk with you guys, please. I encourage that. But in the meantime, I guess I can keep talking about stuff I've been doing recently and just random things that can come up in my head. So, back in rank we go. I didn't think my luck would actually activate that time though. I wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. I think the flow from other people in the room just wasn't quite there. And it went to me, which hasn't happened in a very long time, so I'm a little bit scared on how the next rounds are gonna go. Because I'll be honest, I haven't been paying attention to the discards. So we'll see. We'll see what half paying attention to discards is gonna do. I don't think it's gonna go very well. But I've been surprised just like last game. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was looking into the Olympus cameras because, you know, they're very pocketable. Some of them have pocketable profiles. And some of the cameras that have come out like years ago are still good even in today's standards. So I don't think they've changed too much from one camera body to the next. Like maybe a few software tweaks here and there, but functionality wise it's more or less the same. There's a couple of exceptions as far as pocketable cameras go, for their pocketable lines go. I think it's the Pen series I think their pen series is what the pocketable cameras are called, and then the M series or OM series, as the new ones are called now, are the more professional cameras that you can use for work and stuff like that. For any hobbyists and enthusiasts, maybe a professional camera is not the right fit for you, because it costs a lot of money and it is a huge investment. I've had to train myself, I have to convince myself, I have to tell myself over and over again, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it. Because I really don't need it. I am a hobbyist. First and foremost, I take mostly travel pictures, and I take mostly pictures that make me happy. I don't need to make anyone else happy with my pictures. And what I mean by that is it's not a professional thing. I like taking good quality pictures that might border on professional looking, but at the end of the day, it just has to look good. It just has to look good on screen. It has to look good on Instagram, Twitter, wherever else I post it. Basically, that's a very low bar. And you can get into detail for the pic, like you can zoom down into the pictures as much as you want to, but depending on the composition, you may not get far enough for those details to matter when you actually look at the thing. Now, there are some things I do like to take a picture of that details would be very, very nice to look at, like foliage and insects and animals. Though I haven't really taken pictures of animals, I have taken a lot of pictures of insects and flowers and leaves and things I find in a hike, basically. Don't think I've ever taken a picture of a monkey. I have run into monkeys in Yakushima this past trip, however, did not get a chance to take a picture of any of them. Too busy driving. Basically, I was too busy driving to take a picture. So there was that. But yes. So I just had to convince myself I don't need the professional cameras. However, this is where it becomes difficult for me. The G7X Mark II, G7X series in general, G5X also, they had very, very fast lenses. Now, let's explain that a little bit for anyone who's not familiar with photography or cameras in general. So there are several things in a camera that you have to keep in mind of that basically delivers a sharp, bright picture. It is the aperture, it is the lenses, and it is the ISO. Well, when I say lenses, I mean shutter speed, focal length, but mainly we're talking about shutter speed. I should like clarify that. The three things you mess around in your camera for brightness and details is the shutter speed, ISO, and the aperture. Now, the quality of the lenses will also affect sharpness, but if you're on, like, say, a non-interchangeable lens camera, like a compact camera, you can't really change it. There's really nothing you can do about it. The sharpness will more or less be the same, but I mean, there's going to be variation from one camera of the same model to another just because of manufacturing. But but we won't get into that. Assuming everything is the same, you expect the same camera, regardless of how many copies they are, to perform similarly. Let's just say that. But anyway, so shutter speed is how fast the shutter opens and closes. The faster it is, the less light it lets in. Faster shutter speeds are good for catching things that move very, very fast, like fast animals or kids or insects, like flying insects in general, people running, that kind of thing. Sports photography is fast shutter speeds are good for those. Slow shutter speeds in general are good for letting in a lot of light, which in general you would want if a location is dark or you're trying to get a picture of the stars and the moon and everything else out at night. Night photography in general would also use longer shutter speeds. Like we're talking anything longer than 1/60th of a second generally is kind of on the long end, though once you get to 1 second or more, that's basically going into astrophotography levels right there, or at least very dark conditions from what I understand. If any of these sound wrong, please correct me. I am still learning about photography, so I could be getting some details wrong. Anyway, continuing. The longer the shutter speed, though, the shakier your image can be. So this is where stabilization is very important. And the most stable thing that you can do is have a tripod so that you don't touch the camera. Vibrations don't affect the camera and they don't affect the picture. And everything comes out nice and sharp. More light there is, the sharper your picture tends to be. And also brighter. However, if it's too bright, you overblow the details and everything's just kind of like flashbang. It's not good. Flashbang is not good. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, so that's shutter speed in a nutshell. There's also the aperture. So aperture refers to the diaphragm on your lens. And when I mean diaphragm, there's this basically this well, I get, how would you describe a diaphragm? It's like these blades that open and close in your on your camera, and basically the smaller and like, okay, so aperture is how big the hole on your camera is. Think about your pupil, your eye. The pupil in your eye is kind of like that aperture or the diaphragm in the camera. To let more light in, your iris expands, and to let less light in, the iris contracts. It closes, or at least gets as close to possible. It doesn't completely close, otherwise you can't see, because that's where light goes in through. Anyway, in terms of aperture, the smaller the number, the wider the what do you call this? The wider that hole that lets the light in. The larger the number, the smaller the hole. Now that may not make any sense, but keep in mind that aperture values are like not divided by. They're basically the divisor. So if you say something has an aperture of 5.0, what you're really saying is that hole is that iris in the camera is the size of 1/5.0. That's basically how it works. So you can see now, hopefully, the larger your divisor is, the smaller the number is. And because the smaller the number, the smaller the hole is, basically. However, that aperture also affects several things. Generally, the higher the aperture, the smaller the aperture number. Remember, smaller means bigger numbers. the sharper things, the sharper your image is going to be, or at least most of your image is going to be coming in sharper. But there's a lot of things in play here, especially with the lenses. So but in general, that's how it is. The smaller the number, or the larger the number, which means the smaller your number is, the less sharp things around your subject, what you're focusing on, is going to be. Now, whatever you're focusing on is going to be very, very sharp, because you're also letting in a lot of light in. I hate this. Okay, it's cheap at least. Anyway, in terms of light, smaller numbers mean less light comes in. Bigger numbers mean, well, smaller numbers mean it's a lot of light comes in, and bigger numbers mean less light comes in. But smaller means larger iris, and larger number means bigger. No, yeah, smaller number means bigger iris. It's a little confusing. Look at a chart, it'll make much more sense. It also affects sharpness, it also affects depth of field, it also affects quite a bit of stuff. The most important thing here though is light and depth of field, but I'm not too familiar with how depth of field works, to be honest, so I'm not going to get into that. I just know light, light, light. More light into your camera, the better the pictures are going to be. The last thing that affects the brightness, the light in your pictures is the ISO. ISO is, I think it's mostly a post-processing thing. I'm not entirely sure. The ISO thing still confuses me a little bit, but from what I understand, ISO is basically an electronic thing. It adjusts the image on your camera, and it's basically like the gain knob on your speaker or microphone or any musical instrument sort of thing. And if you're familiar with that terminology or that comparison, the higher your gain, the louder things will be. So the higher the ISO, the more bright your picture is going to be, the brighter the picture is going to be. However, you introduce noise the higher you crank up that ISO. Likewise, the higher you crank up the gain, you're going to hear more popping, you're going to hear more off things in your sound, which is not good. Likewise, too much ISO will introduce too much noise into the picture. It's not good in general, and it destroys the picture. Now, generally, if your aperture is smaller, and when I say smaller, slower, I'm talking about bigger numbers. If you have a bigger number on your, if you have like, if you have a wide aperture, when I say wide aperture, that's smaller, I'm talking smaller numbers. I think that's more accurate to say. If you have a wider aperture, which means more light comes in, the lower your ISO will be, and that is a good thing in general for details in your picture if you want really, really sharp pictures. But the smaller, the narrower your aperture is, the less light comes in. So in general, what that'll do is increase your ISO. And for most cameras, especially the kit lenses that come with those cameras, they tend to have not really a high ISO thing, but definitely around the middle. And it's enough that if you have low light in the area you're taking pictures at, it's not going to be very bright. Still first place somehow, I'm surprised. The luck is strong today. I didn't think I was actually going to be this lucky today. Anyway. I probably said a lot of things about how cameras work and lenses work, and forgetting the original point that I was talking about. But basically what's happening is all that stuff I said about how cameras work with the brightness and stuff like that, it's because of that I'm having trouble recently with lenses on the new camera I just got. So the Canon G7X Mark II, and I don't think we still have enough. We do not have enough people yet for another room, at least not that I can tell. But anyway, the aperture on the G7X Mark II is pretty wide. 1.8 is basically almost as wide as you can get. Almost. There are some that go smaller. I mean, like there's some that go wider than 1.8. So sometimes you'll see 1.7, 1.2, even less than 1. Those tend to be like super expensive on a interchangeable lens system. But 1.8 is still really, really good. In general, for most professional lenses, you'll probably see 1.8 or wider on their aperture ratings for the cameras, and that means you let in a lot of light, you can get better depth of field, and also very low ISOs, meaning sharper pictures, or at least sharper subjects in general. And despite the small sensor on the compact cameras, that high aperture lets in enough light that it compensates for any weakness that a small sensor size might have, which is really, really good when you're traveling. And when you're traveling, you go to a lot of dark places, let's say restaurants or inside buildings and whatnot, and might even take some night photography, or you're at a concert that's going to be dark also. So those wide apertures, that 1.8 aperture is really, really good for those low light situations. It goes, I think and also generally the farther you zoom out, the aperture tends to close up a little bit, just by design. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. There's no way around it for the most part, unless you do a lot of tweaking with the lens. So I think even on the far end though, 2.8 for the aperture is still really, really good. So generally 1.8 to 2.8 is what you want for night shots or places that are dark. And I was so used to having that on the G7X that when I moved to a different camera, the Olympus cameras, which are interchangeable lenses, I lost that 1.8, 2.8. And if you want to get the same aperture size, the lenses are gonna be, in general, pretty big. Now, the Olympus cameras are like micro four thirds cameras, so that's a sensor size format. And generally smaller than APS-C, and also smaller than full frame. However, it's still pretty good in terms of performance. Basically, micro four thirds, from the little I've used of it so far and the research I've done, is the middle ground for performance and portability and value for money. So it's really popular because of that. And I mean, APS-C, I have an APS-C camera right now. That's what we use for the hand cam stuff. The sensor size on that is a pretty good size. So because of that, the cameras are also going to be a little bit bigger, and if you try to shrink that too much, you lose a lot of functionality with dials, knobs, and stuff. So that's the downside, that's the drawback. And the lenses are bigger, they're also heavier, full frame even more so. Now there's a lot of people that say full frame or nothing, and I'm like, only if you're professional. If you're a professional or wanting to be a professional, full frame cameras make sense. On a budget, APS-C would also be a good entry level, I feel like. The reason why we use APS-C for the hand cam is because that's basically what I wanted. Could the Micro Four Thirds be used as a webcam? Probably. It wasn't an option for me at the time, or at least I didn't think about it at the time. However, knowing how the focusing system works now, it's probably a good idea that I didn't do that. So, I think maybe the more professional. I think the more professional Micro Four Thirds cameras may have a different focusing system than the smaller ones, so it could be also on par with Sony and Canon regarding that. But the Canon and Sony auto detects for the autofocusing for videos is already pretty good, and I would rather use those just because I'm used to it. It's Canon especially, not Sony. Sony's too expensive. Sony's too expensive, and there's a lot of tweaking that's involved. But if you do a lot of videos and like to do editing, like color grading, that kind of stuff, like you say you're making a movie or something, or like a short film, Sony might make sense. Canon's still pretty good though, but I guess there's less focus on video with Canon and more focus on photography, which I'm more of a photography person anyway. But in any case, when I was looking up the Micro Four Thirds stuff and decided to get an Olympus, I wanted to keep it very compact for travel. And because of that, there's not a whole lot of small, and there's a lot of small options, but sometimes there might not be small enough for me. And also, those small options for what I want. Wait, I'm confusing myself. Anyway, there's like a lot of small options if you want to travel light. There's like a lot of prime lenses that are small. Fast prime lenses, wide apertures like the 1.2, 1.7, 1.8. Generally 1.8 is what I'm seeing. And they're probably about maybe, I want to say 50 to almost 80 millimeters in length, which 80 millimeters is not pocketable. 50, barely pocketable. The lens I currently have on the Olympus right now is a pancake lens. Pancake being like a very small form factor lens, and it is, if I'm not mistaken, it is about 24, 25 millimeters packed down, which is super nice. Super nice, makes it very easily packable. However, because of that size and because of how lenses work and how they're constructed, it's not a fast lens. In general, most zoom lenses are going to be between 3.5 to 5.6. That's the range. So 3.5 on the wide end and 5.6 on the small end, the narrow end. That's just standard for zoom lenses. Now, if you get a super big zoom lens or a telescopic telephoto zoom lens, your apertures tend to be a lot smaller. Like, think about how your eye works. If you squint really hard, your iris might also squint, like become narrower, but because of that, you can also see further. That's kind of how it works. Basically, the telephoto lens squints really hard to see very far, and for that you can't really have a very wide ISO. It just doesn't work like that. If you did, it'd be kind of like having a 100/20 vision, which is like crazy, or something of the sort. Anyway, basically what I'm trying to say though is, if I wanted to get the same aperture sizes as what I had in the G7X, I would have to get like several lenses instead of just one zoom lens. And I also have to switch lenses quite a bit. And that's way too much switching for me personally when I travel. I've read a lot of Reddit posts, I've read a lot of blog posts, I've read a lot of forum posts about all these people saying, this is a good travel lens, this is a good travel lens, I have these many lenses for travel. I'm like, what? Anything more than one lens I feel like is too much for travel. Also, big lenses for travel, I have seen those tourists. I have seen those tourists everywhere. It doesn't matter if they're in Tokyo or New York or Disneyland or whatnot. In Disneyland, it's more forgivable. Disney World is more forgivable. Theme parks is more forgivable. But let's say you're out and about on the streets of New York, Chicago, or Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka. Now, in the tourist areas, that's okay, I guess, to have this obnoxiously big camera with an obnoxiously big lens taking pictures everywhere. You're in a tourist spot, you look like a tourist with that gigantic camera. It's okay. For all intents and purposes, it's okay. However, if you try to take candid photos of things, people, and stuff in a more private setting, let's say you're in a really small restaurant with a gigantic camera, it's a little bit obnoxious. It's not easy to take out and also take pictures and stuff. Now, at that point, a lot of people might reach for their phones and use that as the camera, which is fine. I did one trip before of only using my phone camera, and it worked out okay for the most part. Not the best pictures ever, but it worked out to an okay degree. The pictures coming out from a camera bigger than a compact, though, at least on Micro Four Thirds are better, is still gonna be better than your phone camera. Now, the pictures in your phone camera look pretty good, but that's because the software is basically sharpening that picture up quite a bit, as well as adjusting for any defects in the lenses that you might have in your phone. Truth be told, the sensor size on your phone camera is not much smaller, but it's smaller than the compact cameras and also much smaller than the Micro Four Thirds, APS-C, and obviously a full frame camera. Yet you wouldn't know it when you take the picture because it looks pretty good. If you're just sharing it on online and stuff, it's gonna be mostly acceptable. However, it's not gonna have the same quality as at least a Micro Four Thirds or bigger. The 1-inch sensors from the compact cameras are comparable, but still edge out a little bit. And you're just also just not gonna get the fast aperture lenses that it may. I haven't actually, now that I think about it, I haven't actually looked at the specs of the lenses on the cameras these days. But in general, phone cameras tend to suffer in low light, and at least the 1-inch cameras, the compact cameras, still do better because of those fast aperture, the wide apertures. Anyway, I got sidetracked. What the heck was I doing? What am I talking about? But basically, I just kind of wanted to see if I could find lenses that were small enough and like fast enough for my needs that compared to at least the compact camera that I lost. When I say lost, it basically won't turn on anymore. So dead. It's dead. It's gone. And I was doing a little bit of experiment with the current lens I do have, the zoom lens with a 3.5 to 5.6 aperture on the zoom lens and for the most part the pictures actually come out okay. I am bothered quite a bit that it is using higher ISOs that I'm used to. On the G7X Mark II, I was using very wide apertures at about 1.8 to 2.8, and the ISOs were generally fairly small. If you get an ISO around 100 to 200, that's like near perfect as far as noise to signal ratios. But if you get higher, there's a certain limit to each camera that it can take before the picture just looks like crap, basically. For the G7X Mark II, I think anything above 3200 ISO, 3200 ISO, the picture degrades quite heavily. It's not really that good. Like, it's acceptable up to that point, but anything higher, it's really bad. On the Micro Four Thirds system, from what I understand, it's acceptable up to 6400, but past that, it's not good. And when I was taking pictures with the new camera, the Micro Four Thirds camera, I was regularly getting ISOs of 2000 and higher. Just doing food pictures in my place, basically. I know my place is generally pretty dark, so that's probably why. But also the other reason is that slow aperture on my the 3.5 aperture on my camera. So I can't get 1.8, I can't get 2.8. If I want those, I have to get separate lenses. And if I want to get the zoom lenses with at least a 2.8, I don't think they make a 1.8 zoom lens for Micro Four Thirds, but a 2.8, that's a pro lens already. And the pro lens is 3 to 4 times bigger than the lens I currently have. So if I try to stick that onto my dinky little camera. It's a nice dinky little camera, by the way. It's a very nice camera. I'm saying it's bad at all, it's very nice. But if I try to stick that on my camera, it sticks out so far that it is not going to fit in my pocket for one, and I want it to fit in my pocket. And it's going to be extremely, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. It's going to be extremely noticeable in a crowd, me taking pictures. And, you know, people tend to behave differently when they know their picture is being taken. Me, I don't like my picture being taken just because I don't like being in front of a camera. There's a lot of people like that. If they know you're taking a picture of them, then they tend to behave differently. And if you want to take candid shots of everyday life, a big lens is not exactly the best thing. Smaller lenses are better. Smaller lenses are better. They're easier to navigate with, also in small places. Let's say you're taking pictures of your food and stuff in a restaurant. It's definitely more discreet. Now it might still be obvious that you have a camera, but you know, it's more discreet. It's not as obnoxious. And if people don't notice you have the camera, they are gonna behave naturally. For people who like doing street photography or you know, slice of life type of stuff, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You capture those moments and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm like looking for lenses right now that'll fit those criteria: small, fast, ideally zoom. But you can't have it all in one lens because it just does not work that way. Somehow it works on the G7X. I still don't know how they managed to pull that off. I think in the G7X, what you lose for the ridiculous specs that it has is you lose a little bit of sharpness, but it's still pretty good despite those defects. Which is amazing if you think about it. And I say defects with huge quotation marks just because, is it really a defect if it in general it looks pretty okay? I don't think so, to be honest. It's still decent. And if all you're doing is sharing pictures in social media, decent is good enough. Ow. If I keep in third place, I'm gonna have to eat another piece of ume here, aren't I? Anyway. But yeah, I found like a few candidates for the Micro Four Thirds system, specifically for Olympus, that I want to get. But looking at the cost and how much gear it is, I'm kind of like thinking maybe I don't need all of it. Also, I need to figure out which focal lengths I like to shoot at before I decide on getting other lenses to use for situations that hopefully come up more often than not. Like if I'm using one lens for food photography, hopefully I can use that same lens for the streets, for nature, that kind of thing. Now different focal lengths are going to like frame your picture differently in different situations. Sometimes you want to be zoomed in, sometimes you want to be further out and have like a bigger picture of what you're looking at. But if you have like several prime lenses, and prime lenses are like one focal length only, it cannot zoom. But prime lenses tend to be fast, have wide apertures, so they're nice for that. They're also fast literally because you don't have to adjust the zoom. So the only thing you would have to adjust is your aperture and your shutter speed, if that, and everything else is taken care of for you. So it makes things really, really easy. But since you're only limited to one shutter speed, it also makes it a little bit difficult to frame some shots. Like if you do a wide open, not wide open, what is it? If you do a wide angle shot, then it's kind of hard to get details of something unless you move to it like really, really close. And sometimes that's not an option. Think about this. Let's say you're in a concert. This would probably be a easier situation to think about. Let's say you're in a concert and you want to take a picture and all you have is a wide angle lens. You are in the, let's say, generously speaking, you are in the middle of the crowd, like literally in the middle of a crowd. However, the stage is pretty far. The stage is, let's say, is pretty far. So you can't really get a picture of the stage very well. Ooh, I'm glad that wasn't me, but I'm still third place. You can't get a picture of the stage very well, so you can't really zoom in. What option do you have after that? You probably can crop your picture afterwards, but the picture that you crop might not be as sharp as it would be normally if you had zoomed in or had a different focal length to begin with. That's the problem with cropping. That's the problem with cropping from a wide angle picture. You lose a lot of pixels when you crop in from a wide angle picture. So that kind of sucks that way. Okay. Anyway, I guess I have to do another one. I have another ume here, but let me hear this. That's the package for the sour ume, the sour dried plums. And yeah. Hey Lacats, welcome. How's it going? I basically went through a whole soliloquy of cameras and Japanese lessons in the past hour 40 minutes, and I'm still pretty much not done yet with my woes and struggles with trying to find that right lens for the new camera. I did, however, get third place, so I have to eat a piece of sour dried plum, this thing from last time. Let me show really quick as a reminder, because it's been a few games since this happened. I am glad I have not hit 4th place today just yet, because I would have had to eat 2 of these. However, this is the second time I got to 3rd place, so I have effectively eaten 2 of these today, or we're about to eat 2 of these today. So there is that. Let me just check the chat really quick. Do we have... Oh, okay. It seems like we have people in chat, so again, if you want to play, let me know. If you don't want to let me know, I'm going to go ahead and create a room, and you can join if you want to. Do we have any good options here? Let's just do 4 players. I'm going to create the room. If you want to play, here it... Oh, no, what? No, no, hold up. I'm going to change that. That was a south game. We don't want a south game. We just want east. East only, 300 seconds. There we go. There we go. That's a room right now. If you want to join, feel free to join. I'm about to eat this ume that, yeah. Okay, that one wasn't as bad. It's a little bit sour. It's not too salty. That piece wasn't too salty. It's kind of sour now. But initially it was actually sweet. That was actually pretty sweet. And now it's getting a little sour, but it's not as bad as the first piece earlier. Oh my gosh, the first piece earlier was like super salty and then sour. And then this one is like sweet and then a little salty and then a little sour. But it's not as bad as the other one. Wow. Anyway. Don't know about cameras as well. I just listened to your talking. Well, I'm glad that you listened in. I know I can like go off in tangents, and not everyone listening is an expert at whatever the streamer is talking about, but I think the general idea is right. The general idea is, if at least I feel very passionate about it, I hope to pass that passion on to you in whatever form that may be. So yes, I hope at least I communicated that. But yes, the struggle is real when you lose the camera that you so dearly love. When you lose the camera you so dearly love, and you get a new camera that doesn't work the same way as your old camera. It doesn't even have to be a camera. Just something that you use as something fun, be it a tool or let's say a game system. Though the game systems tend to be better than the previous one, unless of course we're talking about PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 compared to the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4, if I remember correctly, doesn't even have a CD drive. Meanwhile, at least the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 had a CD drive, so that means you can have a physical disc. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. The new hardware or thing that you replaced your old one with doesn't work the same way, and you're trying to figure out how to make it work somewhat the same way, though in game systems that analogy kind of falls off. Doesn't work quite the same. Anyway, let me add an AI for this one. I don't think I set the AI to normal, so there's gonna be the easy AI. Easy AI. All right, we'll do one. We might be able to only do one game today, but if you guys want to play another game after this, we can. But no, the struggle is real, at least in camera world, where the upgrades aren't so straightforward, and there is a lot of things to consider when you want to customize your gear or kit, or like, you know, figure out your loadout. I think we can all sympathize with that terminology, figuring out your loadout for the gear you have, and you have so limited amount of space and you have requirements for that loadout that is not easily achievable the way you want it to be. Think of it this way. A shotgun is not going to work the same way as a pistol, and a pistol is not going to work the same way as an AR. And each of them have their own advantages and disadvantages. Like with a machine gun, you basically have a really fast fire rate, and hopefully pretty decent ammo. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna run out pretty quickly. But with an AR, you don't have as much ammo, but the piercing power on that thing is supposed to be better. Accuracy also tends to be a little bit better. You have a better range on that. Now, I don't know how it works in real life, but at least in gaming terms, each gun behaves differently, and each gun, depending on the game, you can customize a little bit, but it's not going to be quite the same as your favorite piece of thing. And your favorite piece of thing is definitely not going to be. It's not easily replaceable. Like, if you're so used with an AR, but the shotgun just works so much better in a given situation. You know, the shotgun has really high attack power, but really slow reload speed. So if you run out of ammo on a shotgun, you're not really screwed, but it does make things a little bit more inconvenient, and you have to adjust to that. And then if you have a AR, fire rate is up, but it's not going to be as strong as the shotgun, and you might run out of ammo. I don't know, do you run out of ammo with an AR? I feel like AR is like the all-around, right? AR is your zoom camera, basically. It does the job. It does the job. But if you want to be more discreet, then you bring in the handgun. And the handgun definitely works better in some situations. You know, that you can't carry the bigger guns. Holy crap, did the AI just win? Holy crap, the AI is throwing hands. What? Holy crap, just a sec. Let me put my shock face really quick. Holy crap, what? AI is throwing hands. And it's on easy mode too. I don't know what they were mad about, but okay, you know, okay. But yeah, I've been looking at several lenses that I do want to use, or at least add to my kit, because the pancake zoom lens, as capable as it is, and I'm coming to terms with the high ISO on it, it's the pancake zoom lens is okay for the most part. I mean, it's not perfect. It doesn't have the same reach as my old camera. It doesn't have the same brightness as my old camera. However, it is sharper. It is sharper than the old camera. It also deals with high ISO better than the old camera, which is a good thing. It's just, you know, seeing those large ISO numbers, I would really would like to get that smaller if I could. So the only way to do that is to get a lens, a faster lens. Like a 1.8 is what I'm aiming for. But those 1.8s are only prime lenses, so if I wanted to zoom, I would have to switch lenses. Like either to another prime lens or to the zoom lens, which is a pain in the butt, to be honest. I like to keep things very lean when I travel. Holy crap, the AI is on a roll. What? It's only 1,000 points, but the AI is on a roll. Oh. This AI is going down. The AI needs to die. How is this possible? I don't know. This is very unusual. If this was AI normal, I can understand that it would be much harder, but this is easy. This is the easy AI. This is not supposed to happen. It's like it got this flash of brilliance and it's suddenly curb stomping. I think mostly through sumos, from what I can tell. Yeah, and the weird thing is the AI is winning twice in a row. What are the chances of that? I mean, the AI calling Ricci is not unusual. But the AI winning as often as it did is unusual. Wow. Anyway, hopefully this doesn't continue. Hopefully this does not continue. But no, I'm still, I have lenses picked out, but I think if I'm picking lenses, I still would like them to be like as small as possible, or at least as few as possible. From what I am, from what I found out from taking all the Japan pictures that I've done, I tend to shoot pretty wide angled, like 24 millimeters. 24 millimeters is like a fairly wide shot, and it's what do you call this? It's a fairly wide shot, and I seem to be using it quite a lot in a lot of situations. Now, you want a wide angle lens for nature, sky pictures. I guess it also kind of works for food photography in a restaurant. Like, it's pretty easy to just kind of like not necessarily zoom in. Oh, that's kind of dangerous. But it's kind of easy to like push your camera closer to your subject. Oh my gosh, I almost discarded that red. I just drew the red dragon, and I'm glad I didn't discard it. Oh, they didn't run you? Maybe the weight changed. No, the weight didn't change. They had they called Ricci. Well, it is Ichihime. Ichihime is kind of dumb sometimes, but I'm surprised it didn't run you. Was it the tune, or was it what was the other weight? I forgot already. I only remember the tune because I had one. You threw the tune. Are you sure you didn't throw the tune before they Ricci'd? I don't remember what the discards looked anymore. Because that's the only thing that would make sense. I'm pretty sure that the AI is very opportunistic. Yeah, weird things are happening here. The AI is both smart and dumb at the same time. I'm not sure how that's possible. But considering this is Ichihime, it is entirely possible that the AI just is sometimes dumb. It can happen. Save the tune for the last throw, but the AI didn't run off it. Huh. I wonder if it's because it just doesn't do anything if it's the last tile. If it's the last tile, maybe it just doesn't care, you know? In that case, it would be a programming issue. Wow. By the way, I'm not eating those ume for this one. that was only for ranked. I'm not eating the ume for this one. Do you guys want to go again? Revenge match against the AI? I'm okay with it. We can go one more. Alright, let's go one more. I am not satisfied. I feel like you guys aren't satisfied either. The AI was winning way too much. Yeah, this is gonna be the last one. This has to be the last one because I have to wrap up after this. If the AI wins again, we may just have to accept it. I don't want to say it, but we may have to accept it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, but the AI was winning. And that is unusual. Let's see. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about cameras again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna talk about cameras again. Anyway, so I was looking up lenses for the new camera that I got in, and yeah, I picked some stuff out. But like I said, it's like, do I really want to carry all this stuff with me on a trip? Like, realistically speaking, I could probably carry 1 extra lens, maybe 2 extra lenses, but how likely is it that I'm going to actually switch them out? Honestly, the only other situation that I mean, the zoom lens, as slow as it is, I feel like would still be acceptable in most situations, especially when there's bright light. That's the main thing. If I'm shooting out in the day, then light is not an issue. ISOs are not an issue, and it would be like any other day. However, as soon as it gets dark just a little bit, then I get problems. And those are the problems I am thinking about. And maybe if I pick a lens, it's gonna be those situations I pick a lens for. Let's say it's nighttime and I want to take a picture of the scenery. However, the scenery is very dark, right? Because it's night. The 3.5 can still take a picture at night. However, to do that, a couple of things have to happen. I either crank up the ISO, or I mean, I usually do ISO to automatic anyway, so that's not really me doing the cranking. Either the ISO is cranked up really high, or I increase my shutter speed. So longer shutter speeds will collect more light and hence make a brighter image. But if the shutter speed is too long, then we have a problem. Because the longer the shutter speed, if I'm not on a tripod, the more the camera shakes. That's just how it happens. Unless you're super steady for, let's say, 1-2 seconds, 5 seconds even, then you might be okay with that. I think for me personally, anything longer than 1 second, I feel like I can't be stable. And there's some neat tricks you can do camera-wise for that. But if you just want a nice clean picture at night, and your shutter speed is like pretty long because your aperture is not as wide as you would like, then you risk shaking, and the AI is winning again. Why is the AI winning again? You see the amount of doors in that hand? How? How is the AI winning again? The AI doesn't make sense tonight. The heck? The AI does not make sense tonight. What is going on? I mean, I'm not saying the AI should lose every time we play with an AI, but have you seen the AI win this much on easy? The AI normally does not win this much on easy. It just usually doesn't happen. Not saying it doesn't happen, but usually doesn't happen. So what the heck is going on here? Is the AI being sentient? Are we feeding the Mahjong AI machine learning data? Is that what's happening in Mahjong Soul now? The AI is learning from everyone else's games? Because holy crap, if that happened, the AI would be like the ultimate training buddy, or at least, you know, it'll beat all the players some percentage of the time. Because I mean, you can still adjust for it. Mahjong is still a little bit of luck, but it can at least scan the discard super quickly and like figure out probabilities much better than any normal person can. So there is that. Well, let's hope it doesn't happen. Hope it doesn't happen. Anyway. I basically traded some gear in to hopefully offset the cost of any lenses I might get, which would be great. So the gear would essentially be free if I'm able to get the money they promised me for it. So that'd be great. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, huh? Oof. But the oh. Oh my gosh. Sumimasen. Sumimasen. Double run, both the AI and me. The AI is hitting very hard. Nani? Oh my gosh. The AI is cracked tonight. The AI is super cracked tonight. It's funny, but also very concerning. It's very concerning. It's normal AI in disguise. Maybe there's like a setting between easy and normal. Because normal AI destroys people. This one's not quite destroying, but it's just a little bit above easy. It's very sus. It's also kind of funny that the translator picked up sus as sus, and sauce, and aces. It's weird. Very weird. Let's get rid of this. Ah, man. I'll after this game, I'll show you guys really quick the dilemma I have as far as lenses are concerned. Just so you kind of see where I'm coming from. Like, I need to talk about this with someone. So you guys are it for now. You guys are gonna have to be it for now. It's a dilemma. It's a super dilemma for me. Anyway, what are we gonna do with this AI? Hopefully it doesn't have anything up its sleeve for this turn. But you never know. You never know what it's thinking. I'm just kind of like, yep, there it goes. Ooh, nice. Nice. At least we got a little bit off it. Okay, well, it's not enough to do anything to the AI, but it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. We'll take it. We'll take it for now. You know what I want to try in the next Mahjong, stream? I don't know if there's the best time to talk about it. Maybe we should wait until we're done with this game. Yeah, let's wait a little bit. Let's wait a little bit. But anyway, I'm thinking about mixing it up next time. So, first things first, we gotta survive this. Gotta survive this. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up, my hand is not coming together. I don't think my hand has come together at all this entire game. It did a couple of times in the previous game, but not this one. Oh, three-player Mahjong? Do I really want to give you an advantage? I could if we wanted to, you know, to whip a newbie into place. But we're not there yet. We do have a newbie, but not really. Not really. I have made a grave mistake. But you know what? Mistakes are meant to be made. Let's go. Thank you. Boo! How badly did that hurt? Oh, I pulled in the first. Wow. Sorry, like cats. I just had to do it to you. Good job, also. Good job. What do I call you, by the way? GG's, everyone. GG's. GG's. What do I call you, by the way? Lolita Kose? Lolita Kose. あんた名前はHow do I call you? What do I call you? I recognize Rory in the name, but I don't know how to translate the first part. Takase Rory? Rory Kose? なんだと? なんだれ? Anyway, I just want to say really quick. Has anyone here tried? What's that other called? Ricci City? I think Ricci City is on Steam, right? And I've been kind of curious about trying it, but I don't know if it's. I hear it's like not that good. I mean, what more do you need from a Mahjong platform? But I hear the platform itself is not that good. How was it? Was it okay? I mean, a lot of people still prefer Mahjong Soul. I prefer Mahjong Soul, but I've also seen a few people use Ricci City regularly. Pretty good now. Okay. We might try Ricci City next time, which is not next week. I'm kind of curious about Ricci City, so I want to try Ricci City. Just, you know, just to see how it plays. I remember the first time I tried it, that it didn't feel good. I don't know how to explain it, but the game did not feel good. So I'm hoping it feels better now. I don't know how to explain it, because I mean, you wouldn't think there's a difference, but it feels like there's a difference. So yeah, I kind of want to try Ricci City next time. It won't be next week. It'll be, what is today? The 15th? So it will be on the week of Christmas. So we'll have another Mahjong thing before the year ends, but not next week, because next week we will have a guest over for today. Takase or Rory, please choose from these. Okay, I will call you Rory-san, just because because it's fun. It's fun. Also, I just like saying I just like saying Rory. Rory, Rory, Rory. Oh crap, that song's. I've been watched. No, I didn't. I don't think I watched. I don't think I watched that music video as much as other people have. But do you know that music video I'm talking about? But I haven't watched it as much, but you know, it's been going around, so it's like it's stuck in my head a little bit. It's stuck in, you know, the music. Yes, it's a fun song. It's a fun song. I know what it's about. I know what the lyrics are about, but it's still a fun song. There's no denying it. And do you know why it's a fun song? Because Iosis knows how to make really catchy music. They've done it ever since Toho. So doing it with Ui Sensei, Ui Mama, definitely they can do it again. They're really good at it. They're actually really, really good at it. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, next time we do Mahjong in 2 weeks. We do Mahjong in 2 weeks. We'll try Ricci City just to give it a shot, see how it plays. So that's gonna be a little bit different. Next week we will have a guest here, and we will be talking about the Japan trip. Though I'm not exactly sure. You know, I think it's gonna be next Friday, but I'm promising it now. I have to double check with them if that's actually gonna happen. If it's not gonna happen, we'll do something else. We'll do something else if that doesn't happen. But expect it to happen. We'll be talking about the Japan trip and also the things that we both experienced. It was their first time going to Japan, so that's always interesting to hear from a first-time visitor what they expected, what they did, and what happened, basically what their experience was like. I do know part of their experience because I was with them for a little bit, and also after what happened when I met up with them, let's just say it was not a good experience for us both. Not because we did anything to each other, but because things out of our control happened, and it'll be better to explain it then than now. It's actually really easy to explain now, but I would rather keep the punchline for next time. Yeah, just FYI there, punchline for next time. Anyway, so that's the preview for what's coming up soon. Let me show you really quick, because I've been talking about this for a long time tonight. Let me just show you my dilemma, okay? Let me show you the dilemma I have with the camera situation. I got the pictures. Where the heck did they go? Oh, it's this one. Okay, so let me introduce to you the new camera if you have not seen it yet. This is the new camera. The old camera, the G7X Mark II, is gone. Technically, in the community post, I said it died. That is half true. It's kind of dead, but not all the way dead. I have some batteries that used to work on it that don't work on it anymore. The standard battery, not standard, the manufacturer battery, for some reason doesn't always work on it now, and I'm not exactly sure why. It works if you fully charge it, but it doesn't last long. Not as long as it used to, and I'm very curious why it kind of sort of died this week. Because before this week, it was acting up a little bit last week, and I thought it was just the third-party batteries that I use with it. But the third-party batteries and the regular batteries have been working fine for years. And the only thing I can think of that might have happened to the old camera was maybe moisture, or maybe I shook it around too much during the trip. I was getting it in and out of my pocket a lot. And the pocket situation I had wasn't ideal, so that might have contributed to a lot of things. But it was working 100% fine during the entire trip. I don't know what happened recently that made it act up a little bit and basically be a zombie. To the point where I'm just praying that when it goes to the people that I'm trading it in for cash, that it is still gonna be okay, it will pass inspections, and they will give me the money they promised me for it. If they give me less money for it, I will still take it. If they not take it in at all, then I guess I'm gonna have to take it apart and figure out what's wrong with it, if I can. Not the best thing to do. I do not want, if I try to like send that in for repairs somewhere, it's also gonna cost me a lot of money, and basically cost the same as a new camera. For that money, I may as well get a new camera. Right? Anyway, so this is a new camera currently that I have. This is an interchangeable lens camera. The lens currently on it is a 14 to 42 millimeters, which is equivalent to 24 to 84 millimeters on a full frame camera. What does that mean really? It means it can go from decent 28 millimeters. It goes from decently wide, not super wide, but decently wide, to pretty close zoom. The only downside to this is that it's a 3.5 to 5.6 aperture lens, meaning fairly slow, but that's standard for a zoom lens. And you need a lot of light for it to work well, as with any camera, and it doesn't perform too well in a low light situation. Let's think restaurants that have like that, that moody lighting, and concerts or night shots even. So it doesn't do too well with it because of that lens. It can still perform if you know how to do it, but it takes a little bit more work. So the dilemma for me is I kind of want a faster aperture so that I don't have to do as much work. But yeah, I don't think I actually took a picture. I don't think I actually have the comparison shot of my dilemma. So the dilemma here is, where the heck is it? So I have these. So these are the relative sizes of what is going on. So I have these relative sizes of the lenses that I'm comparing against. All the way to the right, the lens all the way to the right is the one that I currently have. So it's pretty nice, it's pretty compact. I can slip that into my jacket pocket and it works just fine. However, if I want to get the faster lenses, I would have to get one or both of the ones on the left or the middle. Now, if you look at that from just a physical aspect, it sticks out a little bit, like almost twice as much as the lens I currently have. And that doesn't fit in the pocket as well. So basically what would happen is the lens I currently have would be the one that's stuck on the camera. And when I need a specialized lens in low light, I bring out one of the other two. That's basically when they come out. And the only time they would come out is if I'm taking food pictures in a restaurant or taking night shots. Or, you know, taking a picture of that very, very nice airplane food, which may not be very nice if I fly not business class next time, because business class is really, really hard to reserve apparently. Anyway. But yeah, the dilemma here is the size. Now, in general, these are still a lot smaller than the full frame equivalents. Like, I can probably fit an entire lens in my pocket very easily and not worry about it. Full frame camera equivalents would be like 10 times the size or something. That's an exaggeration, but like much bigger. Cannot put it in the pocket. But there's still, you know, I still have to switch it out, and that's the annoying part. For me, it's not difficult to switch it out, it's just a few extra steps to do it. I mean, we're not even talking about cost right now, we're just talking about the form factor and what's involved to using it. And I'm just being really picky because this is essentially an investment for me. But also, I don't want to be buying something that I'm not going to use. I think we can all agree with that. We don't want to buy something that we're not going to use one way or another. That's just wasted money. That's just wasted money. So I have to like really, really think about it. I mean, I can return it pretty easily, I think, but it's a hassle. It's a hassle that doesn't need to happen. Anyway, that's basically the punchline to my camera dilemma. And you would think this would be an easy thing to research and decide on, but I've been thinking about this over and over again since at least yesterday. And when I say at least yesterday, I mean a full 24 waking hours. Basically, when I'm awake, I keep thinking about this problem in my head. And I really, really need to not do that. Because I end up going through Reddit posts, I end up going through professional, not necessarily professional, but photography sites, camera gear sites to make a decision. I'm even looking through YouTube videos to figure out, do I really want to go through with this? Is it something I really, really want to get or should get? That's the issue. That's the issue. So yeah, I'm like super obsessive about figuring out if this is a good thing or not. However, I have been playing around with the lens I do currently have, and I think it takes pretty decent pictures. Now, if you zoom in a bit more, you might start to see some softness, fuzziness in the details, but we really don't care about details for the most part. Details are nice. I like looking at details. I like looking at the fuzz on this thing. Like, can I do that? Oh, that I'm doing the wrong thing. I like looking at the fuzziness of the takodachi over here. Like, look at that. Look at that. It feels very plush and soft from just that. I like seeing that, but details and sharpness aren't everything. Composition is better. Getting the shot, getting the right angle, getting the right look, the lighting, all that is more important. Because I mean, this same thing, if we just change the filter or the lighting a little bit, it looks like an old photo right there, right? I feel like to me it still looks like a good picture. The details don't matter here as much, because when you look at this, you're kind of reminded of the old-timey photos, that worn out, faded look, and that's very much an artistic thing. That's very much an artistic choice as far as how you want the picture to look and how you want it to convey. The camera also does some interesting things, like this weird little number. Normally, you would not use this anywhere whatsoever, but this is like a filter that they have, a preset filter. They're just kind of, they're supposed to mimic watercolor. I don't see it, to be honest. I don't see this, but it can be useful in certain things, and you know, it's nice if you tweak it a little bit more, I suppose. I do have also a lot of black and white photos I took with the camera. Black and white is not a thing I usually take a pic. I don't usually do black and white photos, just because it doesn't really interest me too much. But the presets on this one anyway takes a lot of nice black and white photos, and I can't show you any of them because that would dox my location, but they're pretty good though. Oh yeah, actually I can show you one black and white photo. It's the picture of the camera that died. If you look at the community post or the what do you call this, the Twitter post, then you will see the black and white version of that camera. Basically, it's a nice moody setting. It's a nice moody setting. Chotto mate, Deepel sensei, nani kore desu ka? Third one looks like something an influencer in that area would use. Yes, actually yes. An influencer would probably do something like that. I mean, it's nice and artistic. This is nice and it's artistic in a funny way. I feel like it's artistic in a funny way. I didn't even show you all the other types of pictures I could take with this. The nice thing about this camera though is that normally, even on the G7X, I would have to adjust something in post before I can share it. And there's been a lot of pictures this trip that I could share straight from the camera because they looked decent enough to share. But on some other pictures, I would have to like change the brightness, change the contrast to make things pop out more, or tone down some other things in the picture. One of these days I should do a photo editing stream. I'm not sure if you might be interested in that, but one of these days I want to do a photo editing stream just to show you kind of how I do it, and then maybe some stories that go along with that. But yeah, it's an interesting process. It's very much an artistic process if you don't do it for work or anything like that. But the nice thing about this particular camera is nice because I can do all those image adjustments in the camera itself. So when I take the picture, it looks pretty much kind of how I want it to be in sharpness and contrast and color. And I can just send it straight from the camera to Twitter or Instagram and it'll look good. I haven't done that yet, but I'm still playing around with it, and to set up all that stuff. But it's nice that I can do that. Usually you would have to have like a separate raw file. So the raw file is like the negative on a film camera. And then that's basically what people would adjust to make the picture look good or better. And it's a process. It's an interesting process. I don't do it too often, but I have been playing around with it so I can get used to it. And you don't really have to do it. You don't really have to keep raw files for this one. You can if you want to adjust more afterwards, but having a raw file is just more space taken up on your SD card, and it's okay if you plan to do something with it. That on the last trip, I have a raw file for every single picture I took, which took up a lot of space. A 128 gigabyte card with raw files the size I had, I could only take 3,000 shots, and the 3,000 shots, 3,000 pictures sounds like a lot. Normally, if you don't have the raw files, you could do like 3 or 4 times more of that. I forget the exact number, but 3,000 shots for me is not a lot, because when I take pictures seriously and when I take pictures during vacations, I take at least 1,000 pictures each week. At least 1,000 pictures. So 3,000 shots is only gonna last me 3 weeks. And I don't delete those until the trip is over. Actually, this time I didn't delete any of those because I kind of want to try something different. I want to have like an SD card for each trip as a backup. So I have a backup of that on the computer. I have a backup of that on a external hard drive, and then I have the originals. A backup of the originals on the SD card itself, which is, the originals. So redundancy to preserve everything. It's a thing. It's a thing. So I kind of want to try it that way. And SD cards aren't too expensive these days, and in general use, I'm not gonna go through them that quickly. But some people do it like that, and I should probably do it like that so that there is a physical backup or something of the sort, and it's in multiple places. I'm also looking into Flickr. I have an Instagram. I still haven't uploaded most of the new stuff to Instagram yet because I haven't had time to sit down and edit those pictures or review the pictures to see if they're good enough to put on Instagram. But I think Flickr might be better. I'm not entirely sure. I know people would say, who uses Flickr? And honestly, I'm kind of the same way. Who uses Flickr? And I noticed that mostly photographers use Flickr, because the reason why they do that is I think Flickr actually tells you what settings the pictures are taken. In Instagram, they don't really do that. They don't care about that. But for technical portfolios, technical photos, or you just want to share how you took the picture, Flickr is a better way to do it, because I think they actually they share the details. I think by default. I'm not entirely sure if that's true, but I'm gonna have to double check, look into it more. Whenever I see pictures on Flickr, usually I see details on the pictures, but I don't know if that's because people type that in. So yeah, more stuff for me to search. Otherwise, if it's about the same as Instagram, I might just stick with Instagram and post pictures on there. We'll see. Anyway, it's getting late. I talked your ears off tonight too much about Japanese and mainly camera woes and stuff like that, but I hope you enjoyed the I hope you enjoyed the talk. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed just, you know, seeing what we're up to here. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you all for playing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And good night, everyone. Or good morning, depending on where you are. See ya. Bye-bye.